Legend.
The Leg Up, thanks to UPC Showdown. Get the leg up on the bookies and download the UPC Showdown app today. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Good evening, punters. What a stacked show we've got on tonight, fellas. We've got Group 1 tips. Few roughies from you blokes. I've seen them pop up in the notes, and we've got good, bad, ugly.
I got a roughie.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 50-1 pop in there.
You've pen's just exploded on your hand.
Yeah, I got a blue finger.
There's ink all over the Gold Coast studio. My name is Sam Wood, Blake Johnson, Nick Lloyd. We are here thanks to the legends at UPC Showdown. Download the app. There's a lot going in there. There's a sports showdown in there now, which we're going to talk about in the second segment of this show. Maybe get some footy finals tips out of you guys. Moya Stakes.
Footy finals tips are no good from us because we're
too biased.
He's purple.
At least
I'm maroon.
My team's winning, so that's easy to tip.
Yeah, easy to tip.
Lock it in every week.
Well, they're favourites.
I reckon
now,
my
aren't they?
team's the one that's in the most trouble this
You're
week.
diabolical. Roosters.
Yeah.
But you're a switcher. You're a switcher.
God.
Okay, we're still doing this.
You're a Bronco.
Like, he can talk. He just,
yeah.
State of origin, where's your allegiance at?
I don't have allegiance in State of Origin. I only have
Oh,
allegiance
okay, yeah, sure.
to the mighty boys over at Brookie.
Yeah, the Mighty Boys. Up the Mighty Boys.
Go the boys.
Moya Stakes. BJ, Mornington Glory.
Yeah.
You've been going good on the Group 1 tips.
I've been going all right.
Old Bluefinger.
My UPC tips have been going well. It didn't play out as I expected, though. I said, he was going to just sit behind the lead speed, and then he was going to pop out. He was going to hit the front at the top of the straight, and then he was just going to have to hold him off.
Led
It
on
didn't
his
work
ear.
out like that
Led
at
on
all.
his ear.
Led, zipped around the corner.
Stacked them
Nothing
hard.
could catch him.
No.
He was too good. 1,000 metres. 1,000-metre horses for 1,000-metre races.
We spoke about it last week.
Yeah.
Hey, Asugi, we're talking
Listen.
about
Yep.
1,000-metre horses.
Hey, Asugi, she was good.
Great run.
Yeah.
Very
Her, I Wish I Win, and even Cabalas were.
He was sneaky.
He was sneaky.
He
Well,
was. I black booked him.
Let's go through some of the terms you used for some horses last week.
Who? Yeah, well,
Pride of Slowy. Isn't that what you said?
Pride of
Well,
Sluggy.
Yeah,
Sluggy.
yeah, and they've come out on Twitter going at poor bloody Miles Fitzner, and you called it Pride of Sluggy. So
Yeah, I just snuck under the radar.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. We don't want any of that attention. Or maybe we do.
Well, we get to talk about her today.
Yes, we do. We've got the Mackay Diva Stakes. It is
Big
a
racing.
absolutely stacked weekend. We are 4 weeks out from Everest. I want to talk to you guys a little bit later in the show about that. Why don't we get straight into the Group 1 before we get into anything else, the good, bad, ugly, all the rest of the show. Group 1 action. Flemington via Sistina returns.
Pretty good race.
It's a.
Yeah.
What about this one? Do you like this one?
Yeah, this is proper.
Okay, this is a real Group 1.
I would have liked to see Riffy there. Poor
Yeah.
old Riffy.
Poor Riff.
So what happened
Hopefully
with
he's
Riffy?
okay. He had colic surgery.
What's colic again?
Colics is like when their bowels twist.
Oh,
So
I think I got
No,
colic
it's a
for that.
big. It's big.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
A lot of horses do.
A lot
die
of
from it.
horses get colic, but sometimes they don't need surgery. That sorts them out. You have to walk them for a long time.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Just walk them. Hopefully it sorts itself out, but sometimes it doesn't. They need surgery, and unfortunately he did, and he's out for the spring.
This would have been a good race for him.
Would have been a good race. He might have been.
$7.
He would have been second pick. All right. Oh no, he wouldn't have been. Mr.
No,
Brightside,
yeah.
but he should have been second pick.
Leg 9 in your UPC Showdown for you punters that are playing at home. Big prize pool, as there is every week. The more punters in there, the more the prize pool goes up. Via Sistina, currently around that 235 quote. Mr. Brightside, Pride of Jenny, $6.50. Interesting to see if we're ever going to see a price like that next to Pride of Jenny's name. She could have definitely come out and just done everything that all expected. In the spring, Antino's back, Queenslander. Are you tipping it, Nick?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah,
Must feel weird for you.
no, I just.
He's a bit sluggish at the start.
He is. He's just way too costly.
He's a slug.
He is a slug out of the gates. I'm gonna go. There's two horses that I think are like the top pick and the showdown sort of
Yeah,
selection.
yeah. Give us your tip and give us your showdown selection.
I think the showdown selection, Blake's going to touch on that. So that's a tissue. But I'll go Mr. Brightside. I'm going back to the well on him.
Mm-hmm.
He was just collared late by the fit in form pinstriped first up in the Memsey Stakes a fortnight ago. Usually they've gone into the Memsey second up through the PB Lawrence, but they didn't this year. They said they left a bit of improvement in him for the rest of the spring. So I think he can only improve second up. He's going to get the nice run. It'll be interesting to see what Pride of Jenny does and how sort of far in front she gets. J-Mac, I don't think he's going to let that happen.
Is James? I was going to ask this.
No.
He's got the rails. Is he going to let Pride of Jenny cross him?
No. He'll let her cross him, but
Definitely.
I don't think.
What? Just
But
let
he's not going to be out the back on Via Sistina this time. He's going to be a lot closer. So it'll be interesting, just like whether or not Mr. Brightside can, sustain the pressure and the tempo. But look, he's a world. Well, is he world class? He's at his peak. He was so.
What?
Mr. Brightside, world class.
Yes, he's world class.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, he's one of the best milers.
God,
in the
it's hard to
country.
get to walk into the elite tier of Nick Lloyd's.
Yeah, it's only a few.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mr. Brightside,
bunch.
I'd say is.
I'm not sure if he's world class.
No, I reckon he's one of the best milers in Australia and has been for some time. But
Yeah, and the
I
best
don't know if
milers in
that's
Australia probably
probably not
don't
quite
measure up to the
yeah.
world.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So
Okay.
We got
Yeah.
the best sprinters.
yeah, but mile, middle distance, not so much. So he's on top for me, but I think a tissue can run a great race each way, and I think Blake might be making.
Yeah, it's a
bit of
cracking
case.
race. It's a cracking race. What do you think about Pride of Jenny? Can she bounce back, or are we still on the she's gone?
I'm still on the she's gone, but if she's going to bounce back, it's going to be second up Flemington 1600, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you want to see sharp
Yeah,
improvement for
Yeah.
her to bounce back. $6.50? I'm not sure. Warmonger, I'm interested to see him back because a lot of people have got him penned as Caulfield Melbourne Cup horse, but are we taking that
you can't.
Queensland Derby form as true? Is that
It was
is that true or is that an anomaly?
It was one of the worst Queensland derbies I've seen, and he like the time even comparable to like he's a shocker in I think like the Premier's Cup on the same day or whatever race it was that he's a shocker one. They're like two seconds slower. So I'm binning that 10-length margin.
That is a very high rating race. So
The derby.
that Derby,
Yeah.
yeah. So
The
interested to
worst
see.
derby ever.
Yeah,
But the
it's got a big question mark
Yeah.
on it. It's
Big
got a big
asterisk.
question mark on it. Via Sistina is the most likely winner.
Yeah.
I thought she was outstanding winning first up. Had to clock ridiculous late sectionals to win in the worst part of the track. Strength through the line was really good. Getting to a mile, and you're only going to suggest that's better. You think Flemington is going to suit her. Low draw, McDonald on, plenty of things to like. So definitely should be at the top of the market. But I want to play a tissue in my UPC Showdown. I thought she was good first up. Got back from the wide draw. Worked to the line in the worst part of the track. Closing splits were really good. Tempo of the race against. She improved sharply to win a Blamey Stakes, second up last preparation over this track and trip. She'll land closer to the lead speed from this draw over this trip. She just loves Flemington and she loves a mile plus. So I think $15. I don't know if she can beat Via Sistina, but I think she's worth a gamble in your UPC showdowns because if she runs second or third, or she does happen to, the favourite cops a little bit bad luck.
Yep.
Maybe
Which-
she can blouse them.
How often for a big track and a big straight at like Flemington? How often do you see horses drawn low, back in the ruck with just absolutely nowhere to go?
I actually think, like, even, especially in a small field like this,
yeah, it can just be like, how on earth has this happened? But
because, like, you'd think, second up is Pride of Jenny. Is she going to go out and do her thing in front and string the field out? Probably not to the extent that she did in a Queen Elizabeth Stakes or she has in an All-Star Mile because she's probably not at the stage of her preparation to bust horses.
Yeah.
She will lead at a genuine tempo, for sure, a quick tempo for probably the race class. but there's probably going to be a pack of them behind her that there's not going to be big gaps in the field in the run. There might be a big gap prior to Jenny to the second horse, but you'd think that they're going to be racing in sort of a bunch in behind her.
Yeah.
So there is potential for bad luck, and Atishu might be able to stay out of it, and she does let down really fast.
She does.
She does let down really well.
It was the mares, the Empire Rose, wasn't it, that Pride of Jenny won, and Atishu was might have gone into that race favourite and was flying late under J-Mac.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
She should have won the race
Champions.
Is that the Queen of the Turf? She should have won the Queen of the Turf.
Zugotcha beat her.
Yeah, she was an
Blake Shin.
absolute certainty beating that day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're on it too.
We were.
Yeah.
When we come back, the boys will get stuck into the tips for this weekend's showdown. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss it. We're back. Big thanks to our sponsor, UPC Showdown, over 1.8 million. I nearly said 8 million then. Well, next year it'll probably be that. 1.8 million won so far since March. Like we said, new sports segment in there, so we'll get into that. Let's do a little bit of good, bad, ugly.
Now on the leg up. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Now, BJ, we're talking about this one this morning in the office. There's been a lot of conversation about Jamie Carr and what's happening with her and the run on the ride on
Let's Face the
Let's Face the Music. I dropped the let's a lot. And everyone's had their say. It's been something that's been covered and a lot of very good differing angles and opinions. Have you had a chance to kind of have a look at this and get across what's going on with Jamie Carr?
Yes, I have. So this is going in the ugly because the stewards are dragging this out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's ridiculous that the stewards are dragging it out. We're looking at an integrity issue for a horse that would have finished second. Okay?
Yeah.
So hell would freeze over before Let's Face the Music would beat Home Growing Empire on any given day. So I think it's ridiculous that we are dragging this out. It happened on the 31st. We're still dragging it out now, and it's going to be dragged out for another 3 weeks or so. So I think it's ridiculous. There's two questions to be answered here. Did she hook the horse, or did she just make a mistake? So I guess that's what the stewards are.
Is that why it's getting dragged out? Do you think that there is some other level of integrity they have to look into? Like, is there a bet slip or something that they're...
I don't know. Maybe there's something that we don't know, but...
It does seem very odd that this is still in the headlines.
On the facts that... On what we do know, there's no way that I could charge her.
Yeah.
So I think she's in the clear, but stewards have charged her, and there's a lot of people saying that she's probably innocent, and I just think it's being dragged out. So I think it's a poorly written rule. So first of all, it says a rider must take all reasonable and permissible measures throughout the race to ensure that the rider's horse is given full opportunity to win or obtain the best possible place in the field. So, literally, I could charge 100 rides per week under that rule, just given the fact that riders are not giving their horses every possible chance to win the race.
Yeah.
And that's not an integrity thing. It's an ability thing sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
that's open to interpretation too.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? That's not clear cut.
Oh, no doubt. Like, I see riders...
No, that rule, I mean. I feel like that's not, like you said, whether it's intent, whether it's, as you just mentioned, talent, whether it's just not being switched on, you think you should be further up or you should be...
Go back on a horse that should be ridden forward.
Yeah.
Like, that's not giving it the best chance.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, every horse that draws 15 first up and they hook it out and it's 20 lengths off the lead speed, you're not giving that horse every opportunity to win.
Yeah.
So do those riders get charged? Do riders who make a mistake and end up 5 and 6 deep without cover on a hot tempo, do they get charged? Look, we're dealing with humans, and humans make errors. So I also think another thing in her favour is the betting. So I looked into the betting. So the horse was $14 into $8.50 from Wednesday to Saturday, and then on Saturday was $7.50 out to $8.50. So relatively firm in the market. So if there was any indication that the horse was going to get hooked, wouldn't you think it would have been $8.50 out to $14 on the day?
Yeah.
$8.50 out to $17?
Yeah.
You telling me that nobody would have known? So I definitely think that that's in her favour. And then you have to look into risk versus reward. So, like, there is a risk for her to drive a horse into a gap. It was a very windy day, so horses probably weren't holding their lines as well as they would on other days. And there's always the chance that the horse could clip heels, come down, Jamie's back in the hospital, etc., etc. And you could make a footy analogy here because I've played footy. We've all played footy. This horse, at best, would run second. Wouldn't have won. She would have seen Growing Empire hit the front, races over. So if she takes the gap, at best, she runs second.
Yeah.
So let's say you're playing fullback, and this isn't life or death as well. So you're playing fullback, you're down by 20, 5 minutes to go, loose ball. Are you going to jump on that ball? Or are you less inclined to jump on that ball when you're down by 20 than you would be if you're up by 4 and there's 5 minutes to go?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's hard to judge on intent, I think, is the main point that I can take away from what you're saying, especially like what they think is going to be. Is it the same intent if it's a bigger race?
yeah, so like that's a question. Like Melbourne Cup Day, if she's a genuine chance of winning the race at the 350, that gap opens up. I have no doubt that she's driving the horse through it to win a Melbourne Cup. But
Yeah, but I think if you say it like that, if I'm a punter that needed that horse for my trifecta to win 25,000,
we're talking about humans though.
I understand, but the stewards have to work on both sides. It has to represent the punters as well.
But
we put a reel up on our socials. It's had 100,000+ views, hundreds of comments, and most of them are against the other side of the argument of what you're saying.
Throw the book at her.
Yeah, throw the book at her because they're the punters.
Are we judging each individual rider on their merits? Like, are we saying, like, for example, if that was Nash, every day of the week he probably takes that run, and then you look at it and go, well, why didn't he take it this day? But maybe Jamie's not that type of rider, and maybe she doesn't always take that gap.
Yeah.
So, like, is there a medium? Like,
Just because
do they judge different riders differently based on that rule?
They can't. That's the answer. They can't. Like, how could they? How could you say that there's a rule here, but it can only be favoured based on what we've seen as you as a rider?
Yeah, but
because then they have to sit there and say, well, hold on, you also had a huge injury 12 months ago and you're in the ICU for months. So we have to take that into account. So maybe your confidence is lacking. So the answer to that question is no, they can't. But
I think it should be subjective.
But it can't be.
It has to be.
Why?
Because.
But it can't be subjective because it's got to be the same rule. And even what you're saying about the Melbourne Cup, but it's got to be the same rule for, whatever it was.
But they're different riders.
The race on Saturday.
They're all different riders.
But is it the same rule on the different races as well? So let's say this inquiry is about her on Melbourne Cup Day. In the Melbourne Cup, is it the same inquiry based on the same rule?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're saying that she probably would have shown more intent. But what if she didn't take that?
Yes, but we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. So we can only judge on this race and what happened. But I'm saying that rule has to be subjective because, like, Nash would take that every day of the week, but then there's other riders that wouldn't take that.
Okay.
Like, and if you, like, what was that horse that Nash went up the fence on and nearly...
Like Kementari?
Kementari. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, because you could say subjectively, like...
I don't think any other rider wins that race. On
No way.
Kementari that day. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, like,
but
Nash is like sort of
like
too high up on the spectrum to like compare him to every other jockey. Almost,
because
right?
Nash, subjectively, this rule, like, Nash could be a victim of his own bravery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because he's taking these little gaps between horses and putting himself in danger, just poking the horse's nose through it and getting through there. And one day he doesn't, then the stewards could say, oh, why didn't you do that? You did it 2 weeks ago. But, like, it has to be taken subjectively.
Yeah, I agree, but how do you, like, that's a very hard thing to do.
Definitely.
Very
I guess
hard.
you have
like,
to
as in,
go
and is the panel or the board of stewards equipped to do that?
I don't know. But they have to be if they're going to charge her. So you have to go back and look at Jamie in her last 20 opportunities to take that run. And if she took it on 19 and she didn't take it on number 20, then the question can be asked.
I've got another question for you. And Bren O'Brien from The Straight, who's on one of the shows earlier in the week on SEN Track,
Gareth Hall.
quoted, it was on Gareth Hall's show, he quoted, "It feels to me that there's a certain narrative around Jamie Carr that wouldn't be necessarily talked about with other riders." I totally agree with that. We know that anything that we put up with Jamie Carr on our socials goes bunter.
Yeah.
Like, is it a female jockey thing? Is it Jamie Carr because of her past? Is this even, like, if it is Nash, is this a conversation that we're having on our show that's taking up, the guts of a segment?
Yeah. No,
I don't think it is.
I don't think so. Even like for like go like Rachel King, for
Yep.
instance, in Sydney, like Group 1 winning jockey, Rachel, but I don't think we're having the conversation like this even
Definitely
if
not.
if it's Rachel.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think Rachel would have been charged.
No.
I think
Yeah.
there's no way, like,
Right.
Racing New South Wales stewards would charge Rach.
But what if Rachel was on that horse in that race at Caulfield? Like Racing Victoria stewards?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think personally, I think it's a mistake unless they know something that we don't.
That will be fairly interesting to see how this plays out now, because she missed so much racing.
Yeah.
She's going to possibly miss this spring.
Jamie's like, it must be so tough for her because it's like half the people want to make Jamie the golden girl and the pin-up girl for racing, which I think is great because she is the...
Well, the week prior to this charge, she was on the front page of the paper in Melbourne.
Yeah.
She's is she a Melbourne Cup ambassador? Was she? Is that what?
Maybe the Spring Carnival
probably,
ambassador or
yeah,
something, but that's
probably.
what she was on the front page for.
And then the other side, they've got it out for her and wanted to
But
have 12 months
I don't
on the
understand
sideline.
it.
It's
Like,
Sorry.
for us to drag this out for so long, I don't know what she's staring down the barrel of. Are they going to give her 6 months? Or are they going to give her...
Yeah.
Like, what?
Is there precedence there to say someone's been given...
There would be, like, but I don't know.
I think it's I think it's a Jamie Carr factor, and we've got to cover it as well because we get like, it has been the most asked question that we've had on our socials and stuff, and it is. I was going to ask you guys that exact same question last week, like if we're going to see her on the front page of the newspaper, and then the very next week they're looking to rub her out for the month. People don't really know where to stand, but I wasn't really fully across the floor or anything like that.
I hope she comes out and wins the Melbourne Cup, drives one through
How
the
good would that
needle
be?
eye opening. and
Yeah,
wins
just
the cup.
takes that, shows that
Put her
intent.
on St. George at the Cup and away we go.
All right, we've got some value coming up right after the break, including a dark horse you don't want to miss. Stay with us.
The Leg Up, thanks to UPC Showdown. Get the leg up on the bookies and download the UPC Showdown app today. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Hope you enjoyed that quick break. This is the Leg Up, powered by UPC Showdown. Sports showdowns are now available. Started off last week, kicking off for the footy finals. You pick your head-to-head selection, a few scorers, for your chance to win a share of 15 grand. Okay, quick fire.
Quick fire what?
Who wins the 4 NRL games this weekend?
I don't even know who's playing. to tell you the
Roosters, Penrith, Friday night.
truth. Penrith. Roosters. I don't think Roosters have beat Melbourne
Doesn't
or
sound quick
Penrith
fire to me.
for a long time. Their record against Melbourne and Penrith is terrible. I saw
they're
it
gone
on
in straight
NRL
sets.
360.
Storm Sharks. Let's go on. When are you Penrith Roosters?
Panthers.
Yeah. Storm Sharks.
Storm.
Sharks. This could be the upset.
No.
There's always one upset.
Cronulla will be out in straight sex.
Sorry? Sorry. But
They'll be out in straight sex as well.
Cowboys Knights on Saturday night.
Cowboys.
I'll take the Knights.
I reckon Cows are the Smokies here.
Okay.
Bulldogs Manly. Yeah. Who let the dogs out?
Manly is
Let's
certainty.
go the doggies.
Doggies.
Manly a certainty.
Oh, I reckon this will be this. I don't want to say 13+ job on anyone, but it could be this game.
Yeah, on the dogs.
Oh, on dogs.
Dogs 13 plus.
Manly could be out in straight sex.
Well, there's no
One.
in one sex.
AFL, you guys know anything about the AFL?
Yeah,
Port
but
Adelaide
watching the
Hawks.
finals?
Gold
Huh?
Coast Suns.
I'm going.
Big Sunnies fan
Yeah,
over here.
go
I'm
on.
a big Suns fan.
I'm going to say Hawkball continues.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Hawks.
Hawks.
I don't think so.
Hawks, and I think the Lions get the job done over the Giants.
I'm going complete opposite to you. I'm going to go Port, and I'm going to go the Orange Tsunami
Yeah.
because
GWS.
it's back. Yeah. Are you a fan of GWS or the only
The Suns.
Suns?
We go for
Just
the
the one
Suns.
expansion side.
Suns.
Big Dolphins fan too.
Okay, let's. BJ, you got one for us in leg 2 in your UPC Showdown.
Yeah, I do.
Rose Hill Race 5.
Rose Hill Race 5. This is a benchmark 78. I found one that's relatively well placed here. 1,500 metres. I wish it was a mile.
I wish it was a mile.
I wish it was a mile, but I think at around that $21 quote, we can have a little play.
Yep.
Right down the bottom, I think number 16, Phase Angels, can run a big race here. I thought she was super first up from 99 Days Between Runs. She was back in trip there. That was the Mona Lisa at Wyong. She got back and she was on heels late. We can forget that beaten margin. She didn't get beat far there. What was the beaten margin? Would have been only a couple of
1.68.
lengths. 1.68 lengths. She should have finished much closer. Drops back from black type grade to benchmark 78 grade. She'll carry less weight. Maddie Owen rode her there. She carried 56 kilos, but Maddie couldn't claim because it was a black type race. She can claim here, so she claims down to 53 kilos. Over 1,500 metres, she'll land closer to the lead speed. She did win second up last preparation. That was in highway grade. We were on her that day, by the way. And hopefully she can win again second up here. Her first up rating measures up to these. So at $21, she can bounce off that first up run, given the fact that she had no luck. It was a trip that's short of her best, even though 1,500 metres is short of her best. But she can improve. Extra 150 metres helps. Yep, I'm really happy to play her at around that $21.
Yeah, I think it's about $21.
That's a good play.
I like it.
Good.
And a
it's
horse
just-
that's been good to us again, back to the well
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
right time.
Yep. She's well placed. Well placed. Let's do it.
Nick, you got one for us for our UPC Showdowns?
Yeah, we're going to go to Flemington Race 5,
Ooh.
which I
Flemington
think
Race.
is
It's the Archer Stakes.
it's the Archer. The
Did you pick this race because of the name?
Oh, he thought it was the Archer
Yeah.
at
The Archer
Rockhampton.
You thought it was the Rocky
No,
Archer.
and UPC, they weren't sure how to break the news to you, but no Queensland races in the showdown this Saturday.
No, I know. But
Overwhelming requests, actually.
When I walked into the office this morning, he was actually sobbing.
I was.
He was
quite
crying.
upset.
Poor bugger.
People on
I
the
thought
train said
something
to me,
bad had actually happened.
Yeah.
But it was just that there was no
I broke out
Queensland.
into tears on the train, and people were looking at me weirdly. And
Fogged up glasses.
How's the train going for you?
No, not bad. I was on the.
Seen
school-
any sights?
Oh yeah.
Give us some.
Yeah.
Let us in on the
Spill the
train.
beans.
Train diaries with Nick Lloyd.
Yeah, there was a man this morning that just did laps up and down and just whispering to himself, "Sorry, thank you. Sorry, thank you."
Oh, and there was no
No,
just
just talking to himself, just up and down the aisles. So that was cool. All happens.
Nick was sitting in
that
the
guy-
aisle. It just moved.
He needs some medication, that guy.
Quite possibly, yeah. But back on track, shall we?
Back to the Archer.
Back to the Archer. A golden ticket up for grabs in the Melbourne Cup. So this is the race they moved from Derby Day to September.
Well, there you
Oh,
go.
how
Was
disappointing
unaware.
How
is that?
disappointing, yeah.
Yeah, I actually was. I love that race.
Yeah, and this was, I think we made this a bad or an ugly a few weeks
It
ago.
is
when
ugly because
they
I didn't
moved
even
it.
know it was on.
Yeah, I know, it's silly. But a horse here by the name of Interpretation.
Yes.
Oh, was this my horse that I
We
was
backed
this
him in
my,
the top 5 and top 10 markets.
Yeah, he was my roughie
Yeah,
in the Melbourne
he
Cup.
was. He went super. He ran
Yeah.
6th. If he ran 5th, it was one of the great fill-ups. But
Oh,
not
if he
to
had
be.
run a place, it would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, if he ran fifth,
Fifth,
because
he
it was
ran
about $12
sixth.
to run a place.
Yeah,
Like
we-
fifth, top 5 or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I remember that.
We would have got the
I
double.
was upset.
We would have had the triple script. We would have had, without a fight winning, we would have had Interpretation top 10 and top 5, and it would have just been glorious.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
And I think he got beat like 0.1 from out of 5th. But anyway, back on track again. This race, I think it sets up quite nicely for him. He hasn't, you look at his form and you see 0, 0, 0, a few duck eggs, but
Yeah.
that's been 1,600, 2,000, 2,000. He doesn't get warm until he gets up to 2,500,
Yeah.
which he gets to here. He's had 4 starts track and trip. He's run 3rd in this race. Sort of a race at this track and trip on this day 12 months ago. He's ran really well in races like the Bart Cummings, which is, I think, good enough for a race like this. Barrier 5, he's just going to be at the back warming up late. He might be able to get over the top of them with 55 on his back. A few horses that, might have question marks, like where's Vow and Declare at in his career? Berkshire Breeze had his colours lowered last start. Point King was impressive at Moonee Valley, but didn't beat a whole lot, I didn't think. And Post Impressionist, he's probably the big improver, second up. He was first up 2,000 metres. No, that was Point King. Post Impressionist was first up 2,500 metres off a 5-month spell last time, and he was good. So I think there's just a few question marks on some of these. Interpretation, he's got the class. He's a Melbourne Cup 6th place getter.
Yeah, and I've got a question for you, Woodette.
Yeah.
Because you, last time, you were on Berkshire Breeze at the short odds. So do you reckon he can bounce back the big grey?
Well, he's had a little let up, hasn't he?
Yeah.
What have they done?
He might be a month between runs or something. Yeah. 6 weeks between runs.
You diving in? $3?
Not at $3.50 or whatever it is.
You're happy to take the $1.40 last time.
He's a good punter. He's a good punter.
He's a sharp. This thing's a moral.
Give it a
I wonder how many
rest, fellas.
multis just went pop that day.
You could hear him.
Yeah.
You could hear him. A lot of them coming from
I was
my
recording
phone.
a video of you and you were like, you said, this will just...
No.
and I break it. It's very funny.
I
Very funny.
said, there's one on the cards today that can't lose.
Yeah, it's very
And Blake
funny.
just started crying.
That was him.
Well, look, I hope now that you've made fun of me, it comes out and wins. I'm going to back it.
Yeah.
No, I want Interpretation to get up at the odds for our UPC Showdown punters.
$41.
He's gone around like $4.50, $5 in races like this in the past.
Yeah.
Now
It
he's
does seem like a
40.
big price for a horse that,
Kieran Maher, Ethan Brown.
yeah,
Brownie.
they might have missed it. The bookies.
Yeah, quite possibly.
I had a mate in school named Brownie.
Great. Great input.
Yeah. Corey.
Guys, shoot a text into the show if you had a mate called Brownie. Oh, mate, the ink has gone to your brain, I think, mate.
Yeah,
I really like that, Nick. First, I like anything that's close to 50 to 1 to be lobbed into the UPC Showdown. But
Yeah.
Interpretation.
Oh, it'll be winning.
Um,
Can
Oh.
you look down the barrel of the camera and say what you said about Berkshire Breeze?
no, you'll be able to
About
find
this
on our
horse?
socials. You'll be able to find on our socials. You're not remembering the full story there. Or
I'm
maybe you
remembering
are,
it,
and you're
I
just trying to throw me under the bus. Hey, I've got
This
a,
will not lose.
I've got, I've got a question for you guys about the Everest.
Mhm.
We're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll come back, do that, do our one or two more tips, and then a DM of the week.
The Leg Up. Thanks to UPC Showdown. Get the leg up on the bookies and download the UPC Showdown app today. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Hello, welcome back. Brought to you by UPC Showdown. We've had a beauty of a show. Cracker. 50 to 1 shots. Kylie Diva Stakes. Tips.
Oh, it's all happening.
Nick, you've got one more for us, and then I want to do a little bit more from the good, bad, ugly.
Yeah, one of my favourites, this girl. We're going to Flemington at race 9 at number 13, Skybird for Mitchell Friedman.
Skybird.
The bird. She will be in full flight.
Tell me when we backed this last time. Last year.
1,000 guineas.
1,000 guineas. I had
Was
a
it?
50 to 1 ticket on, and
That's
she
right.
started $4 and got beat by Jolie Star and Komochi. So I think that form's all right. But look, she was outstanding. I thought second up last prep at Morfettville in the Group 2 Tobin Bronze Stakes. She bolted in. That form sort of beat home Pivot City. He goes all right. And then started firm in the market in the Goodwood. She was beaten 2.5 lengths, but interesting to note the tongue tie goes on here for the first time. So, you know, he might have choked down a little bit, and that could be a little bit of an excuse for her disappointing run in that Goodwood at the end of last prep. But I thought her trials have been really good. She gets down here with 53 kilos. Gate 7, I liked them drawn middle and out at Flemington down the straight. I think the Flemington straight might really suit her. She's got an electric turn of foot. She can sort of be last, but only 3 or 4 lengths off them.
Straight race.
Yeah, over the top of them. So each way all day, Skybird.
Sounds good. I know what we should bring into next week's show.
All right, let's talk about it now.
Anytime a gear change is mentioned, Woodhead has to explain the gear change.
What was this one?
Tongue tie.
Oh, easy. It's just where they tie their tongue back.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep.
Don't go looking for him.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know what Coley was at the beginning of the show.
Here's one I like. It's got the Norton bit on.
Oh, that's where they tie their Norton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the Morton. That's the Morton bit.
Don't correct me.
Gelded?
I know that one, but I won't do it. But they chop the lot off. So I've got one more good question for the good, bad, ugly.
Now on the Leg Up. The good, the bad, the ugly.
And it is a question because I don't know if it's good or bad. So it's 4 weeks until the Everest. So we're a month out from arguably the biggest race on the calendar. And there are 2 slots currently filled. So we have no idea who's in it. We're not getting any whispers or anything like that. Is that good or bad for the Everest? Because I would like people to go in a little bit early and throw their confidence behind a horse. A lot of intention's been put out there on what horses are aimed for the Everest.
I'll go first.
Go
I'll
first.
say it's good because in previous years we've picked horses a long way out and we haven't ended up with the best field. So,
Okay, so best for the field.
yeah, I think we're going to end up with the best field.
Okay.
I think Giga Kick was the last horse picked. He won it.
Yeah. I think it's
Yes
been-
was
yeah, I
one of the
think-
last horses picked.
I think
He
it's
won
been
it.
like
Really?
Yeah.
the last horse picked has won it often.
Yep.
So
And
that's-
I agree. I think it also builds the theatre up, and I also think it means that horses I Wish I Win he's got the slot already, so he's probably not the best example to use, but horses that might be have got the slot locked in 3 months out, and they go, we can just fine tune.
Yeah, that's
In
right.
the 2 runs, but
They're not
these
there.
horses need to be up and ready to win. First up, second up, third up, and being on the slot holders radar. Like we saw Jolie Starr, what she did.
Yeah.
First up in the show county, she's hard in the market on Saturday in the Jericho, which is rightfully so. Sunshine in Paris resumes in that race. She won it last year, got the slot on the back of it. So I think it's great because the good horses are up and about early and need to put their front foot forward and front hoof forward and get the slots.
They need to fly their flag.
Are we going to? When do you think we'll see the next slot filled? Can we see one next week?
I think there's.
Yeah, I reckon there'll be like 4.
I think there's a few that have already.
You reckon?
Sorted, but
For who?
I'm not sure.
I think this year, like a lot of the slot holders are also owners. So like Coolmore, like they know it's going to be Storm Boy or Switzerland. James Harron probably knows it's going to be Espionage, Bodyguard, or Aardvark. Godolphin know it's going to be like AFCAB commemorative.
Walla Jolly Star.
Walla, exactly. So Yulong, like they've got Chain of Lightning, Growing Empire. So like they know that it's going to be 1, 2, or 3 like of these horses that they already own.
Yeah.
And then it's probably the slots like the Tab and the ATC that are those like ones that are probably looking like. I feel like Tab would be trying to get Bella Nipotina because she's the people's horse.
Yeah.
Like, they can really promote her.
She
like
was good on the weekend.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the way that they're looking at it.
Well, hopefully we see a few bob up this weekend. We see a few more slots being filled.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like the
Star.
take. It's a good take. It is.
It's going to be good.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for this week's show.
Thank you.
Always
Woody.
a pleasure.
Flew, didn't it?
Did.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely. Guys, get involved with UPC Showdown. Get in there. Try and take us on and see if you can win this week's prize. Hooroo.
Hooroo.
Hooray.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.